But yeah, we got a very special guest on the motherfucking line. The Godfather, the Unholy, the creator of the shit we all know and love, Mr. Esham. Are you there, brother?
What up, though? Replicon Radio.
Oh,
What's cracking, man?
What's cracking?
How are you doing, man? We are great.
Oh, I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing today?
Doing good.
We're just out here living it, man. We're
beautiful.
We had to break away from our previous
We're
spots.
doing our official reboot tonight.
Right, we broke away from our previous location and our previous bosses of the radio.
We're the owners of our own shit now as of today.
Oh, shit. So this is a very special day then.
Yeah.
It is number one.
And you
It
were
was
the-
special to begin with because we had Esham on. Now it's even more special
Nice.
because we the
It's
boss
Day
now.
one of the
That's
future.
Y'all done powered up. That's what's up,
That's
man.
right.
Fuck yeah.
So what's on y'all mind today, brothers?
Hell yeah, man. So essentially what we do here, man, we talk to people. We talk to people in the underground. We try to, get to know everybody a little bit better. So what we like to do to begin with, I know a lot of people obviously know Esham. You're a legend, especially in the world we run in. But we like to go back to the beginning, man, and see how it all started.
Jump in the time
I know, we're talking 1989. You released "Booming Words of Hell." Like, how did it all get started for Esham? Like way back in the day before any of this existed.
Oh, man. I mean, I was just a wee little lad back in New York, that is. It started in New York, actually, in a place called Amityville, and that's where I really got my start at, because that's where I was actually born. But we moved to Detroit when I was little. So, my mom and her sisters and my grandfather ended up moving up to Detroit when I was maybe like 3 years old, but my grandmother, she still stayed in Amityville. So, I would travel back and forth from Detroit to Amityville, New York, all throughout my, younger years and up to my adolescence, all the way up until my grandma passed away. Rest in peace to my grandma, Sadie Mae. Mm-hmm. And, that's where I got my start. It's basically started off like in New York, man, with just the whole hip hop and just that whole wave that exploded. And being that I was right there smack dab in the middle of it, I caught the hip hop bug and I brought it back to Detroit with me. And after that, I infected everybody with the wicked shit, and that's the rest of it's history.
Absolutely, man. I mean, did you? I mean, I'm just trying. I don't know if you can even. I'm sure you remember, but can you? I mean, do you remember like 16-year-old Esham releasing "Booming Words from Hell"? Did you even imagine like what today would be like with that record? Like,
no, I couldn't. I never could imagine it. And it people, refer to me as a legend. I don't even consider myself a legend. I might have one leg in the game. Break down the word legend, is Legend. I only got one leg in the game, so I never consider myself a legend. Although it's nice and people are kind enough to say that about me, I'll be like, thank you, but I don't consider myself a legend. Like Michael Jackson's a legend, like Prince is a legend. You know what I'm saying to me?
Absolutely.
But I never imagined that, Booming would be as big as it has been for me, starting out in Detroit and just taking me, like I say, all around the world. And,
right.
It's been wonderful.
At the time when it came out, and I mean what it's become to now, it's a staple of underground horrorcore or wicked shit or
I mean, it's all those things. I mean, if you look at it, the game, the underground or whatever, I would say Booming Words from Hell was the seed, the seed. And this whole underground thing exploded into many different forms. But if you break everything down and go back to the root of the seed, Booming Words from Hell, Real Life Production were the seed that grew this whole wicked tree. You know what I'm saying?
So there was no one before you in the area that was not doing anything like what you did, but even remotely, there was no one prior to that, or
absolutely not. I mean, it was so special. It was so special at the times, and that's why even today when I create, the art. It's just art pieces to me now, and at the time, nobody was doing this kind of music, and everybody that came across it was inspired by it to create their own or even take a little bit of that and run with it.
Other people from the same neighborhoods or from the same areas,
or just the area,
they could just relate to it.
Like wildfire, man. I mean, fire will catch hold to anything it touches. So that's why the cassette was on fire if you look at it. You know, so anything it touched or anything that came in contact with it, it just burnt it. It's just like a massive forest fire. It's like what's going on in California right now. That was booming words from hell when it dropped. And anybody who came in contact with it was engulfed in the flames, man.
That's the shit.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, definitely planted a seed to a whole new world that wouldn't exist without you. So thank you for that.
I'm grateful. No, I appreciate it. I'm grateful for everybody that contributes to the genre, though. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people doing good shit out there, and, you know, I'm a fan of it, too. You know, so I sit back and enjoy the music just like everybody else. So,
yeah.
You know, I love it.
That's so then with the release of that, you and your brother started the Real Life Productions, which, you know, immediately pretty much became the number one independent label out of Detroit.
I mean, we started that because we had no other choice. You know what I'm saying? So basically it was like, you know, the way we learned was from mistakes. You know, we made a lot of mistakes, you know what I'm saying, when we was coming up. You know, I still make mistakes today. You know, I'm only human. You know, but, you know, that's how we started, you know, by making mistakes, man. And, you know, we didn't know that people would eventually take our blueprints and create their own. And we're like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I'm just like, damn, you know, I appreciate it. And I'm glad that they can understand the hieroglyphics that we wrote down in the manuscripts of the scriptures.
Absolutely. That's a great fucking way to put it, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, you know, coming from New York, you know, obviously, even today, Detroit's not the greatest place, you know, for a kid growing up, and especially back then.
Well, don't get me wrong. You know, Detroit has changed a lot. When I was a kid, Detroit was a beautiful place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I watched it, you know, turn to ashes, you know, so to speak. It was kind of already ashes, but now it's just really, like, bad. But it's coming back, though. And only people that live in Detroit will really understand it. You know, it's almost like how only people from Louisiana or down in New Orleans, that area, only, you know, they only understand, you know, going back home, you know, after the floods, and, you know, that's their home, you know, so it's going to be beautiful to them no matter what. So, I mean, that's what Detroit is to a real Detroiter. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so,
for sure.
You know, people might see some ugly shit, but, you know, the people that's from there see the beauty in it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, and that's everywhere. That's in every city across America. So,
yeah, that's how, I mean, that's how it is for us in St. Louis, man. We're all over the fucking news being
absolutely.
We're number one now, but
that's right.
But I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I know it's happening,
right.
But I don't see it.
I mean, but, you know, I mean, that's what we was doing, though. We was like reporters, man, and we were just reporting what was going on around us, and even, you know, further out. You know, we would, you know, keep an ear to the street. We got family and friends all over the United States, and now all over the world. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So they would tell us stories. We would check in on them, and we was writing about that stuff and talking about the shit that people didn't want to talk about at the time, and it was shocking without the internet or, you know, radio player, anything like that. Now, you know, now if you listen to those records, it's more like a wake-up call. You listen to them and be like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he was, you know, maybe he wasn't fucking crazy or whatever the fuck.
That's just real shit.
But, yeah, you know, so that's just what it was, and that's why we chose to call the label Real Life, because, you know, we living. You know, this is a real life that we're living. Like, everybody's a part of real life. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Well, they should be. Some people live in fantasy land.
Most of us, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, people go, you know, out-of-body experiences and go other places. But, you know, for people that's grounded and keep their 2 feet on the ground, you know, it's all about the day-to-day and real-life struggles and ups and downs with life, man.
For sure. So back then when everything was getting started, I guess you met the MC Champ Town, and he was kind of helped you push towards...
No, Champ Town didn't help me do shit. I mean, I don't know. That's what Champ Town would say. That's my dude and everything. You know what I'm saying? But, dude, we was kids. I was like 9, 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? Champ Town didn't help me do a motherfucking thing. Champ Town did what Champ Town did. You know what I'm saying? Basically, and if you go back in the history books, you got to look at all this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can attribute to my success other than my brothers and, you know what I'm saying, the people that helped me. But Champ Town was just a neighborhood friend. You know, and we used to get into rivals, and, you know, I was beatboxing and shit for Champ Town. Champ Town had some flows now back in the day. Now you think if you're 9, 10, nobody had a record out, but he wasn't even thinking about records.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I actually put a record out, and the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? But Champtown was just a childhood friend, man. He didn't, it go back that far in Detroit. You got to realize we were just kids doing this shit when we came up. My first album I actually recorded when I was 13. You know what I'm saying? That's why the covers changed. It got re-released when I was 16. But Champtown, God bless him. You know what I'm saying? But everybody got their own story.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And he has his story, and that's just a part of it. Champtown ran with Kid Rock and all of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's all good though. But yeah, he didn't necessarily help me do nothing. He would just stay like 4 or 5 blocks over.
That's okay.
I
heard there was I guess obviously some crazy shit. There was a time where you two were like forced to rap at gunpoint back in the day.
Well, yeah, that's true.
What the fuck is that? Like,
that's a story. Like, this is just
that's crazy.
Shit. You got to think about like people like White Boy Rick and people like that. They was in our neighborhood. These was the neighborhood dope boys, and we was the young kids seeing them. This wasn't no internet. None of that shit was out. These people was real. You know what I'm saying? Real live gangsters and mobsters live in our neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, and I never really tell too much of it, but my brother, he was running with all them people.
I got
and he was, a couple years older than me. So if I'm 13, he's 15. You know what I'm saying? And you got to go back to Young Boys Incorporated, and you know what I'm saying? This is all a part of the, I'm in the entertainment business though. Let me clear that up. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is real shit. It's real gangsters and mobsters in our town, and it still is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It still is. But yeah, that was true. Just a neighborhood story.
That's crazy. But I guess
crazy
it's better to be forced to rap than to run everything on you or get shot. So.
No, absolutely. And he just he was dead ass serious because he did pull a gun on us. But but that's because we were just around the neighborhood, like battling people and shit, just coming up. Like, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like, it wasn't like I didn't have a record out there. Like, we were just in the neighborhood hanging out like kids do, used to do.
Yeah.
Now niggas just stay in the house.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure.
We was like outside, like, we was some kids outside playing football. Like, you see that gang of kids in the street playing football or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We was out in them streets when we were show.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, that's just it. I had to ask about that because that's just crazy. Because if somebody made me do that, I probably would have got shot because I can't rap. So
shit, we made some shit up.
We've heard you rap. You can rap. Shit
right? We made some shit up, but obviously it was just like if you look at it, he was just like a neighborhood king, and he wanted a performance. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah.
Right then and there.
Give me entertain me. Where's the entertainment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank God you were able to entertain.
Right, thank God he liked it.
We were little kids, though. We were fucking little kids, so what the fuck we going? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
okay, yes, sir.
We did what the fuck he said, you know what I'm saying?
Fuck yeah.
And he jumped in his Benz, and I think he threw us like, maybe like $50 and shit, because that's what it was. Just the neighborhood. God.
So how many life sentences is he serving now?
He's actually dead.
Oh well, that was my next question.
Yeah, no, it's like real shit though. A lot of them people got died. People that just be in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they die from drug dealing. They die from gangsters. It's the same story.
Usually when you're running a life where you're pulling a gun on little kids to make them rap for you, it's only going to end one way.
That.
That's not a growing business.
He was a cool dude, though.
That's kind of a dead-end road.
No. You know what I'm saying? These are hard life lessons. I would say he was still a good dude, though, because he was still look out for us. You know what I'm saying? He was just fucking around, though. That's how they fucked around. But it was a real gun, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was a different time, and it was a different area, right?
We got to realize that it was a different different environment. For that was a normal everyday thing. In that environment, to us, we don't have guns put on us like that.
That's how battle rap started. Motherfucker pointed a gun and just said rap.
Yeah, rap. Battle.
Right, he might have been a criminal and a murderer and all that shit, but he was nice to the kids in the neighborhood.
When they rap good.
Yeah, when they rap good. Yeah. Don't fuck around and be working for him.
Yeah, don't diss him while you're trying to entertain him.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing that shit.
So
But I mean, this is just all from that era, man. The 80s, man. Young Boys Incorporated, the crack era, that shit exploded. And it destroyed Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And I'm not glorifying that shit because it's a terrible life for anybody to try to choose to go down that path. But you suffer the consequences. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's
El
life
Chapo
experience.
style. Yeah.
So, but you're out
yeah.
there. I mean, you're doing your thing. You know what I mean? You released Boom Worth Some Hell. Obviously, it got a lot of, you know what I mean? People were loving it in Detroit. I mean, you were.
I mean, when it came out, people was loving it, but people wasn't too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
it probably freaked a lot of people out. People that were into that type of shit were super into
people
it.
Didn't know what that type of shit was
but
back
not really,
then.
though. It was like we was opening up the spot for the first time. We was the first people on the block with that type of work. Nobody knew what the fuck it was.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's just like, what the fuck? So we was banging it, but at the same time, you know, people didn't understand it too. You know, it was a hard road to walk. You know what I'm saying? With that wicked shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Were you opening up shows during that time for artists and shit? Were you promoting it? Were you on?
No, because we necessarily didn't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So we would, like, if we could get on a show where some people was performing, like we might have did a couple concerts. You know, I opened up for, I think, Fresh Prince. That's what I did.
No shit, Will Smith.
Yes, I did. Opened up for Fresh Prince, and he was at a little club in Detroit. It was called back in the day, it was called Taboos or some shit like that, right? Yeah. And the Fresh Prince, like, he was out. Like, Fresh Prince was Fresh fucking Prince. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Nightmare on My Street shit.
Right, exactly. You know, and you know, he was up there doing his shit. Like, we got to perform. They probably thought we was crazy as hell, man. We came in there with all these Grim Reapers and shit. We had probably like 100 dudes with us, man. It was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, some shit that happened. Like, we all in the club, right? Fresh Prince is performing, right? And I don't know if y'all know any of Fresh Prince songs, but he had this song called Charlie Mack is the First Out the Limo. Or some shit like that. Was a song called Charlie Mack is the First Out the Limo. Because Charlie Mack was his motherfucking bodyguard. So we in the club, everybody drinking. Everybody drinking and shit, and Fresh Prince performing, and it was some drunk ass dude next to me. You know, this older white cat, like, cause it was like a swanky ass club we was in. Imagine that, right? And he was drunk or something. He convinced me to jump up on the stage with Fresh Prince. He was like, listen,
young ass, he jumped like, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, he put a battery in my back. He was like, you could get up there, man. You just as cool as him. And we already went on. But for some reason, I was feeling what the fuck he was talking about.
He was like, nice.
Like, Boomin' wasn't even out. We didn't even have no records out. I was still performing shit that wasn't even out. You know what
he
I'm
was
saying?
Just rapping at gunpoint still at that point.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So, I'm like, fuck it, I'm jumping up there, right? So I jumped up there, jumped my little ass up there, you know what I'm saying? I took about 3 steps before Charlie Mack scooped me up in his arms. You know, he didn't throw me down or nothing, but he picked me up like a baby and put me gently to the side. He was like, no, don't do that, little bro. You know what I'm saying? I just was like, well, damn.
But you were on the stage with Will Smith, though.
I mean, for briefly, but I don't need
for briefly. You know, that's all that matters. I would take that to the grave. I would be like, I was on the same stage as Will Smith.
You performed with Will Smith.
Absolutely.
There you go.
I know if Will ever think about that shit, he'll probably get a kick out of that shit. Yeah, nice. That was funny. That was like
Will
my first
Smith
time.
Esham tour. That's
right.
What, that's what
absolutely. Will Smith is the shit, man. Don't let nobody motherfucking.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was mad when Eminem dissed him, but that's another story. Like, don't be dissing Will Smith. Yeah, man. But anyway,
right.
And I am's cool too. Everybody's cool. I ain't got no beef with nobody. Like, I'm out here, you know, we enjoying life, you know, we entertaining people. You know, we just let the past be the past, man, and wish everybody the best in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's what's up. So you obviously, you know what I'm saying, you're out there, you released you released some more EPs, erotic poetry, Homie Don't Play. And you ended up essentially you released the first ever double album by hip hop artists, which I think you might not be credited for in that like a thing.
I mean, it's fine, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, we did do that. We did a lot of stuff first. But, I'm not here to be like, I did that first. I fucked your girl first. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to say all that. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, absolutely.
We'll say it for you.
But, like, we just let it roll, first. Man. Like, we didn't even know what we was doing. Like, we were just changing the game. If you look at the game, we was putting fucking, 21 songs on the disc or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that was the normal. Like, a lot of things changed to be the normal when we was just doing them for marketing purposes and, being able to sell more products than other people. Like, I don't know. But yeah, we dropped the first disc, double disc.
You inspired Tupac to do the same thing.
Rest in peace to Tupac. That's the shit.
Sure.
I'm glad Tupac liked Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? People told me he liked that shit. I gave him a whole box of motherfucking the whole catalog. Tupac used to ride around and bang that shit.
That's what's up, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the shit.
But it's all good though,
So I'm gonna bounce off topic a little bit. It's still about you, but
keep it kicking. Whatever you want to talk about, brother.
So like when so essentially another huge thing that you've obviously been a part of, and it's been a huge thing in the underground with Nodis. Essentially you met Mastermind in high school, right?
Yeah, I met Mastermind in high school. I already had like a couple records out and shit. You know what I'm saying? And Mastermind, he knew who I was. It was a rumor at the school that it was a famous rapper that went there, but nobody knew it was me because I always went to class and shit.
Yeah.
So they never thought it was me. You know what I'm saying? But it was me. You know what I'm saying? So, a couple people knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was the rumor in the school. They'd be like, it's a famous rapper go here, And some days I'd be fresh as fuck, and other days I'd just be like, whatever, wear the same thing for 4 days. You know what I mean? But anyway, fucking Mastermind and this other dude, came, was asking me to listen to their demo tape or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I got his demo tape, and I like that shit. And there was two dudes, actually. This other dude named Talk and Mastermind. And Talk was sweet as hell, too. But when I finally got them two together and was going to record with them, I was like, okay, let's write a rhyme. And Talk was like, I don't write my rhymes. Some shit he said that just threw me the fuck off. Like, he just, he was like, I don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I don't write rhymes. I can't write rhymes. I ain't know if the motherfucker could read or write. I already know, but I just was like, I didn't like that shit. So I just like, fuck Talk. And then I just got with Mastermind and shit. And T just was my friend, from second grade. And actually, Paul from Twisted was in T class in second grade.
That's what's up. That's crazy.
Because Paul and them stayed around the corner from us too. So they actually is from the east side, Paul and Jamie. Detroit.
That's a small world.
Second grade with Paul.
No shit.
Paul Metric. That's his government.
Yeah.
He said
my government is Esham Smith, motherfucker.
He said Metric.
Yeah, Metric. Young Metric.
You're like, European looking ass.
Shout out to Paul, man.
Damn right.
Shout out to Monoxide, child. But
he was good in school. Jeremy was the problem child.
Oh yeah, Jeremy was always in something like MC Ren.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, man, yeah, we just had fun growing up, man, and doing the music shit. We met a lot of homies. We inspired a lot of the homies to do other shit other than being out there getting in trouble. Whatever you do as a young man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like a lot of homies got out and was able to help their families and kind of spread that shit. For whatever the good in it is worth. You know what I mean?
For sure. So I mean, it's just crazy to think, you're a longtime homie, and then some guy you met in high school turns into what now is like, a huge impact on the underground with Nodis, and like essentially it was like the first super group of its kind. Even though you guys were just
absolutely,
homies,
I agree with that. Shit, Proof from D12 went to our high school too. He used to be outside my shop class because I had shop. You know what shop is when you make the shit in there. All right, him and this other dude used to be out my shop class outside the window doing the kid and play dance, asking me did I want dancers and shit.
Nice.
All right.
Hell yeah, we want dancers.
It's true. Like that shit was funny though. But Eminem didn't go to our school or no shit like that.
Yeah.
He wasn't around then at the time.
Could you imagine if how different the music would be if Proof was a dancer in the Esham band?
Well, I mean, Tupac was a background dancer for Digital Underground before he was a rapper.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Proof had skills, though. He was dancing, he was rapping, like, he was doing it all, man.
Right,
I used to see Proof all over the world, like, and Proof just was doing his thing, and that's when I came to have a respect for him. You know what I'm saying? And we just got into it over time, but eventually we squashed all that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just be some, I don't know. It's that adolescence and all that testosterone, I guess. But at the end of the day, me and him had a face-to-face talk, and we was good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he told me, he was like, man, we wasted a lot of time, you know what I'm saying? And he told me some other stuff that I ain't gonna repeat, but at the end of the day, me and him was good. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right.
Yeah, I know. I never got to meet Proof, but I know, like, right towards the end, before we lost him, he was kind of on a mission to, make peace
with everybody.
Yeah, to make peace, especially with everybody in Detroit.
No, absolutely. I mean, he was on some kind of mission like that, but the people he wanted to make peace with, I think he did, and then he did make peace with some people that people don't know that he had no peace with. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, his people out there that he was at odds with in his own in his own life.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, in his own dealings in life, Well,
that's what's
you'd
up.
be surprised who those people might be.
I probably wouldn't, but that's the deal.
It's all good, though.
But yeah, rest in peace, Proof, man.
Yeah. He was the dopest one in D12, shit.
For sure.
He was doing all that shit. They got the flame from Proof. You can see what happened.
You said he was the dopest one of D12. Was there a worst one of D12?
I mean, I don't know. I think y'all know the answer to that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just joking. I'm just playing. I'm sorry.
We ain't gonna make it
got their favorites, their least favorites. But I mean, for whatever it's worth, there were some more brothers that went to my high school. We all went to the same high school.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And like I say, it was that booming words from hell, man. That wildfire, that sparked it. I mean, the city don't necessarily go back and want to trace the roots, or trace the ashes back to the booming words from hell, but it definitely leads you back there. Every road leads back to booming.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying? The spark that lit the fucking flame.
For sure. Even if people don't know that they were inspired by that, someone else was inspired by it.
Right. Many years later, there's people that are rapping. Many years later now, people are rapping that may not have ever heard or known about booming, but they're on that shit.
Yep.
And, it's just because of the genre and the pickup and the wildfire that it grew.
And then I just like to say, I mean, all the styles we added to the game, man. I hear flows out there right now. Some of the most popular flows is flows from years ago that we added to the game. Even the most popular flow out there right now is from off of Symptoms of Insanity. Yeah, that's the most popular flow in the game. If people know about flows, and you know what I'm saying. But absolutely. I know all these people backtracking. They study hip hop, but they don't want to admit to where they got their lessons and blessings from. But it's all good. The gods know.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So, not to kind of put a little sad note on everything, I guess. You guys released the Nodis album. You're putting out Life After Death. You got KK Kill the Fetus, and then obviously you're getting controversy off the album titles, let alone the content. With the wicked shit, the acid rap, people don't know how to accept it. And then some shit happened with a 17-year-old fan that killed himself, apparently listening to the record and shit.
They said that's what happened, but who knows what happened? You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
I mean, he could have been an accident. Who knows? We don't know what happened. They were just trying to, and this was all before the internet. They was trying to say that those records, might have pushed them over the edge, but, and we just disagreed.
Just because of the dark content, Just because they don't understand it.
Right, absolutely. And it was just a big thing back then. But I think, whoever that young man was, rest in peace, he just was troubled. Or, who knows what happened. No. You know what I'm saying? And,
For sure.
That's something that happened, but I don't think we had nothing to do with it, man. Because we just still entertaining, and it was all about entertainment. Who knew the internet would, appear one day out of thin air from the aliens? I know y'all out there, but anyway.
They listen.
You know, this shit wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The only thing was there was the real life of life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that shit traveled, man. It traveled further than shit. I didn't even leave out of Detroit for fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After the shit dropped, I mean, I still was just, that was home base, you know?
It was local,
I mean, leave.
right.
I mean, not even saying local, like the records flew out of there. You know, like we was doing direct mail order before Amazon.
Well, yeah, the music was selling, but you hadn't gotten
right.
out of there
but again,
yet
I was
to
still
perform in front of other people.
It was spreading on its own.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The music
so
spread
that's
itself.
really what happened, and you know, we just stumbled upon a way to do that without even knowing it.
Yeah.
And like I say, you know, we was doing the Amazon before Amazon.
It went viral before there was viral.
Yep.
Right. So, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, it was hard lessons to learn, but now it's almost like, you know, that kung fu master that had to walk over glass and get burnt on the back
on
with
the
on
the hot coals and shit. Yeah.
We went through everything. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
You know, like it's like people be talking about they want to get in the game, and it's like, man, y'all ain't even ready. You don't even know what you got to go through to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Well, that's gauntlet.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was bringing up. Like, you know, all that shit happening with the kid, and obviously the controversy from the records, and then your brother ended up getting incarcerated. You know, obviously, even though you got to keep going, obviously there's a black cloud right there at that point in your life.
I mean, yeah, man, it almost seemed like, you know, we was right in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it almost seemed like that, and then to one point it was that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, well, shit, you know, the pen is mightier than the sword. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
For sure. So I mean,
nowadays, I try to, you know, not do that like that. You know, it's a little different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, it just some terrible things happen. You know, like, you know, being that young. You know, obviously having access to unlimited amounts of cash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With no fucking. You know, you didn't have no manual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
we're just
this
doing
is how
it,
you
for
supposed
sure.
to do this, you know? Like, we like, what? You know, so, I mean, you know, just thankful for
sure.
the hustlers before us and people that was coming up that, you know, was getting money. They knew how to maintain a certain lifestyle, and, you know, there was knowledge shared to me. You know what I'm saying, on how to do shit. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely try to pass that down, or, you know, try to, you know, send it back down too, you know, because there's other people show me shit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's how I'm able to, you know, just do what I do, jump through portals and, you know, travel through time like that.
There you go, for sure.
Portals.
You gotta make friends with them aliens for that shit.
I like that shit. I like that shit.
But
he said, I like that shit.
Right around that time,
that's some fucking words. That's a bar.
Hell yeah.
That's a part of
that
a bar.
Is a bar. Right around that time, you ended up rebranding Real Life as Gotham, and there was a quote I saw from you online. I assume it's real. It says I don't want to be Batman anymore. I want to be Bruce Wayne, safe behind the scenes. I think that's fucking
it was
huge.
that.
Like,
yeah, man. I mean, everybody know you motherfucking Batman, but then Batman got all the enemies.
Yeah. So just, you just took a step back essentially, and like.
I mean, just on this, you know, it was too much for people to just, you know, they couldn't grasp it, like the success of it all. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
for sure.
It was too much for some people to handle when I'm just the same person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just, you know, making moves, you know what I'm saying, moving through time. But for some people, time stopped.
There is no pause button in life.
It's not, but for some people, it's on pause.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just hard for some people to, you know, deal with. And just, you know, even myself, you know, I just, you know, you don't have to be Batman all the time. You know, you could take a step back. And that's in anybody's life. You know, you don't have to be always on the front line like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, it's different ways to maneuver and move. And that's really what that was all about.
For sure. Well, I mean,
just
a lot of people definitely felt it at that time. You released the Bruce Wayne Gotham City record, and you ended up charting on Billboard, and ended up getting a distribution deal with Overcore after that. I mean, that was probably a huge moment in your career.
I mean, there's lots of them, man. We still having huge moments.
Absolutely.
I mean, that stuff, it was just happening through time. And like I say, like anybody I came in contact with was infected with the wicked shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it's like having the Midas touch. But records ain't going gold, but, bank accounts it.
Yeah. That's the important part.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the day, we started seeing that, we was making more money than these niggas that was famous.
No.
Like this nigga famous as hell, broke as hell. Like they didn't know the business. And nowadays everybody want to be independent, but then shit, we want to get the money from everywhere. We willing to work with everybody, but it was just no help offered to us. And still like that to this day. You got to do for self. And it was a hard lesson to learn. And I'm glad I learned it though, because that's the lesson of the day.
It made you stronger. It made you smarter.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna fucking help you do a motherfucking thing.
Absolutely.
You gotta get that shit in your head. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people with record deals didn't understand. They sit back and think they Arnold and Willis from Different Strokes, like they got adopted when they got a motherfucking deal. Like, oh, we got it made. Like we gotta work. Mr. Drummond gonna take care of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly how it was back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So while they was sitting back waiting on somebody to take care of them, we was taking care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right.
And a motherfucker will tell you, I used to be like, you take care of me, I'll take care of you. Now I just say, you take care of you, and I'm going to take care of me. You know what I'm saying?
You watch your back because I'm watching my own.
Because you probably end up taking care of too many people, and they don't ever take care of you back.
That's right.
I mean, it ain't. It's no. You know what? I help people out, man. I don't care. I help people out, and I know they can't help me back.
Well, that's because of who you are. That's.
I mean, but I think that's that's a part of it too. That's a part of the many blessings from the universe and all that shit. You don't help somebody thinking you're gonna get something in return. You know what I'm saying? Like
because you want to.
Absolutely, just genuinely. And that's just what I do throughout life. My everyday travels.
That's right. That's good
karma. I try to do that and just live like that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm able to float through the matrix, you know what I'm saying, in a positive manner.
I feel you, man. I do the same thing. I do the same shit.
That is what's up, man. So obviously everything's going great. You're putting records out, you're charting, you're doing your own thing. A couple bumps here and there. In 2002, you made a move that probably wasn't expected at the time. You ended up signing with Psychopathic Records, who you had apparently met, 10 years before when they asked you to do Carnival of Carnage with them because you were the hot artist in Detroit.
I gave them their first job. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Job, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? And even at the time, I went over there because they had, the dream team over there. Alex Abbott.
It was the platform, yeah. It was double.
Yeah, Alex Abbott was over there. They was making a lot of moves.
Absolutely.
And, me and the Clowns always been brothers. You see what I'm saying? I like, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? They're my bros from way back. You feel what I'm saying? So it's all a part of that. Like, even when I helped the Clowns, when they was first coming in the game, I did not help them wanting something.
Right, it wasn't for your benefit. It was just helping because it was
helping
them.
Exactly. Right. So years later, they just got to return the favor.
Absolutely.
Nice. That's the shit.
You see what I'm saying?
They should.
Right, and that's just how life should be, though. And them guys, like I said, we brothers, and brothers fight and get on each other's nerves and all that shit. But at the end of the day, they're my bros, and I wish them nothing but the best. But yeah, I signed with them, and we went on some tours and had big fun, and shit. It ended, but we all still cool though. We all still have some good times, and we all still can get together and laugh about those moments and just even future shit, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah, I mean, everybody has their ups and downs, so it's just a lot more public when you're in the
yeah, it is.
Right.
I mean that too, and that shit. I don't know. Sometimes I wasn't, in the best spirits. I could be immature at times. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't admit to that shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I just had to look inward, not outward, man.
Right,
that's where the answer's at.
Speaking
inside,
of being immature at times, and regarding them, you released an album at a gathering, the I Ain't Your Homie kind of dissing them and 50 and a bunch of other people?
No. That wasn't dissing them.
Okay,
I Ain't Your Homie was Homie Don't Play, the full-length album.
Oh, okay.
Homie Don't Play was the first one.
Oh, yeah.
I Ain't Your Homie is the second one. It just happened to come out at the gathering.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, why not put it out at a clown festival?
Yeah. Back in the cave and
you know
rock
what I'm
days.
saying? I think the whole thing about it is, people just, took it the wrong way. But whatever. I'm not in the game to rub people's shoulders.
Well, people just want it, man. Especially nowadays, people beg for fucking drama. So
I mean, but it's all good though. It was some good fun. You know what I'm saying? I Ain't Your Homie is a classic. I mean, the artwork is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was super colorful and bright, vibrant and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun doing that, man. That was just a freestyle record, and it just was an ideal I had to be like, yo, what if I put out a full length record? The follow up to Homie Don't Play. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like a collector's piece. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's all it was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, if I did somebody, y'all know. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no problem with that shit.
He's done it.
You know what I'm saying?
He's done it. We've heard it.
We've heard it.
That's right.
Right.
I'll
go there. You know what I'm saying? But, I didn't think that's what that was.
Check out those podcasts.
It might have rubbed motherfuckers the wrong way.
So it was just a misinterpretation. That's not how it was written.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, you listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, you got to listen to it. But at the end of the day,
sure.
That was just something I did, as a collector's piece to put it in the system.
Right.
And it's out there, man. And, the people who enjoy it.
That's what's up.
Essentially,
I only have two questions about that time period.
Go for it.
One, while you were signed, it was kind of a thing with your name and your lyric content. Like, they didn't want you to be Esham The Unholy anymore because it was... Was that just like a marketing thing? Essentially they didn't.
I don't know. I just they've always been scared of that type of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you would think they wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? But
absolutely.
Right. I mean that first Lotus album was on some deep.
But it's all Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man.
I guess it's not in the name; it's in the content. So to market the unholy is a little different than to mark a clown that says fucked up shit.
I don't know. I wouldn't even say that. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I guess it was I don't know. They're like, man, we don't want to call that motherfucker out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you're like your music wasn't essentially affected. I mean, you were still you on the records, right? I mean, that wasn't changed.
It wasn't toned down.
It wasn't nothing like that. They just didn't want to get any more heat than they already was getting.
Yeah.
From all
was it because they were trying to go the more maybe deeper, not religious, but religious route?
We'll have to ask them that.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. I just know that, it was just a hot button.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, they like, why push the hot button?
Well, we're down with Esham the Boogeyman, too.
That's right.
Yep. I mean, yeah, they just was like, well, we can roll with this. We can work with this.
For sure. No, it was a dope time period. You know what I'm saying? It introduced a lot of people to Esham.
That's it. Nah. It's scam motherfuckers, man. There's too many niggas around here.
Well, it worked out great. I mean, it introduced a lot of people. That
a lot of newer juggalos
at
that time were introduced to you from that.
Cool.
Essentially, did a greatest hit record with Acid Rain. That was dope.
I mean, that's what it was, man. I got love for juggalos or people that listen to that type of music and want to associate themselves or call themselves that. Got love for that. You know what I'm saying? Sure. All that stuff was it was just fun. It was fun, man. I mean, that's all I can say. I think about it, and it was fun. I got a lot of nicknames, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, my name's Esham Smith.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't care what you call it. Just put that on my checks.
There you go.
That's right, so we can cash them shits. That's right. It's got to say Esham Shift so we can cash it.
I don't know who the fuck. But, strange story. My brother, he did put Esham the Unholy Smith on my checks. Like, I used to have to go to the bank with that shit. And I was like, dude, don't put that shit on the checks, man. What the fuck?
The banks were like, what the fuck?
Banks don't listen to rap music.
Huh?
I said banks don't listen to rap music.
I mean, they did, though. They knew who I was. They saw me all the time. They was like, oh, shit, dude, you in here again? Like, all the time. It got to the point they just was nodding.
Nice. That's what's up.
He walks in, everybody knows, it's like Cheers. He walks in.
That's right. It was Cheers. It's Norm.
Yep.
It's Norm. It's Cliff. Yeah, that's right.
That's what's up,
but
man.
Yeah, man. I mean, those were good times, man. And I was only over there for like 2 years, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Well, that's the other thing I was
like,
going to ask. While you were there, you ended up doing the side project with Joe and Joey Lavelle and yourself doing the supervillains.
I mean, yeah, that all went up in smoke, though. I mean, it was just,
it did.
it was, I don't know what was going. There was some internal stuff going on over there that it was out of my control. I had nothing to do with it. And maybe they was going through a restructuring process and, all that stuff just, you know what I'm saying? Got caught up in all that shit, man.
It was. I mean, people like it. It's a different sound. I know it's been brought up a lot recently because Joe was announced that he wants to try to get you to do it at a gathering. Is that something that could happen in the future?
That might happen. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility. That's anything's possible, man.
So I know a lot of the fans
Joe,
would love it
if all the pieces were in the right place.
Right.
No,
Lavelle kind of went Christian, so he wasn't. Doing some...
No, he didn't go Christian. Lavelle is a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
Shut up.
He didn't go Christian, but he did take us more positive road to life, man.
Right.
He really just don't. Like I said, you got to look at. We started doing all this stuff when we was young. Everybody, and even Lavelle, everybody's seen their ups and downs with it. And it's just like having. He's had enough. Like he's like, I don't need to do that no more. Or you know what I'm saying? I'm doing something else. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
And he just chose to do that, man. And he just really don't want nothing to do with none of that stuff. If you've seen him, he looks totally different. He looks like he looks when he was younger. It's almost like
he's still 7 foot tall, probably though.
Oh yeah, he was like a big tall ass motherfucking basketball player, motherfucker. We came in the club, people thought we was the goddamn Pistons.
I bet, man.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, look at little ass Isaiah Thomas. They might have thought I was Isaiah with the 11 jersey. They thought we was the Pistons up in that bitch. But we all had fun, man. You know what I'm saying? But as far as anything, with the clowns, if they reach out to me, it's all good. We always talking. So who knows? The future looks bright. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just rocked out that Hollow Wicked this last.
Yeah, it was big fun, man. It was big fun, man. Like I say, the clowns, they're my bros, and I got nothing but love for them and the Juggalos and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They have their trials and tribulations, and they fight the good fight out there for the underground. So I think that's cool.
Absolutely. So you ended up, you obviously you do your thing. You're, getting great numbers. You left Psychopathic to reboot Gotham in real life. So we're kind of getting back up to current date. I know, like in 2016, you re-released all the EPs into a big collection for everybody. That's dope. If you guys are out there, check that shit out.
Yeah, I mean that music, like when I was recording that shit, like it wasn't like it is today, like where everybody can just have studio equipment and make some fresh shit. Like we literally had to tape shit together, and you know what I'm saying? It was it was a different process, yeah. And it just didn't sound like how today's music sounds. So we wanted to get them remastered, and these timeless classics deserve the second listen. So, just to let people hear the artistry and just how difficult it was to kind of make some of that stuff, man, without Pro Tools.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a whole new world.
Yeah, so, I mean, we re-released a lot of the back catalog and, just looking to build a brand. It went more from being a record label to more of a brand. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, I want Gucci, Louis, real life. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And that's how I look at it, But, I still put out records, and I've helped a lot of people along the way, and I will continue to, and that's just, what it is. And I actually, look, go ahead. I'll say that later.
Continue.
We got all
I didn't know. So, I mean, if we go going right up to current speed, I just released the Nodis box set. I wanted to basically tell the story of Nodis from beginning to end.
At the end of time and space.
Right. That's 24 years in 1 hour. You know what I'm saying? So nice. I wanted to just tell that story and give the fans all over the world the full Nodis experience. So I wrapped it up in a nice, sweet-ass collector's Rolling Stone type, Beatles type packaging, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even better than that, Michael Jackson type shit.
Hell yeah.
And
the ultimate collection.
Wanted to present it to everybody, and in honor of TNT too, who we lost in 2014, unfortunately, to a car accident. But I just felt like people, needed to see the story of Nodis and see our contribution as Nodis, what we did for the music industry, or the underground music industry in particular, but the music industry as a whole. So that's what that was about.
And that's every Nodis record and the bonus DVD with the story of Nodis essentially on the End of Time and Space box set. So
right. So as Nodis, of course, it's Satan spelled backwards, but there's a lot of words you can look at in the English language and they spell shit backwards. But Nodis was Nation Ahead of Time and Space. So when I told this story, because we lost T, we not going to put out no more Nodis records, as a group Nodis, because it wouldn't be Nodis without T. Yeah. So that's why it's called, At the End of Time and Space, because it was just a time to, end that whole chapter in me and Mastermind's life.
Finale to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
that's what that was.
It's a great thing for the fans to check out, and everybody wants to check it out, and it's also a great, dedication to, in TNT's, memory.
Absolutely, so just a nice piece of history to
own in your own hand. That's right.
Yep, there it is.
So I know a lot of people are asking, obviously after the death of TNT and the box set, can we still see something from Esham and Mastermind together?
I mean, me and Mastermind work all the time. Mastermind just dropped the album House of Frankenstein. We do stuff all the time. Mastermind call me anytime, and we are always planning to do something. He sent me over songs. We got songs. You know what I mean? Like, we keep songs. So, I just go in the vault, man, and, pull some shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll forget about some shit and be like, oh, shit, me and Mastermind. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Like, it's all type of shit like that laying around with me and Mastermind. But for the most part, Mastermind started his own record company, and he's putting out his own imprints and doing his own thing, man, and I just support him. And if he needs my help, I'm right there.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up. So, I mean, in the last few years, you've definitely been putting out a lot more music than in the past. You came out
more
with
consecutively.
more often. Sacrificial Lambs, Dictotomy, and now
Dichotomy.
Yeah, I knew how to say it, and I fucked it up.
Dick out of me.
I knew what I was saying, and I fucked out of me.
Dichotomy. He said dichotomy.
Dick out of me.
Get that dick out of me.
Dick out of me.
Oh my god.
Dick out of me.
That's fucked.
But yeah, man. We just been releasing stuff. I think that shit was funny, man.
Replicon Radio making Esham spit up his drink.
But yeah, man. We put that out, and then after that, I think I just released the Scribble, which was like the beginning of the year. Yeah. And I do got a new project that I just finished up. It's called Dead of Winter, which is actually the same name as the tour that we got coming out. I just finished the record up. The name of the new single is called Hypothermia. I don't have it for you guys today because it's going to be it's coming out. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't prepared to have it.
Is that like is that a play on words like Dead of Winter, like hype?
Right. Right. So Dead of Winter is the dead of winter, like it's cold as fuck outside. So this whole thing
I thought it was spelled winter, W-I-N.
Well, no, it's Dead of Winter. I just fucked up.
Okay. It's a misprint.
That was a fucking typo. If you look at some of our records, there's all type of typos. And,
I wanted to confirm that. I saw Dead of Winter, not Winter.
You know what I'm saying? I can't spell.
Print it up.
We misspelled the name of our fucking show
tonight. Tonight we misspelled.
So you understand? We all get each other. We all get each other's dyslexia. So yeah. So it's really Dead of Winter, like the winter time.
Okay.
I don't have the single for you this time, but I'll send it to you. As soon as we get it available and ready.
Hell yeah.
But I'll tell you the track listing.
Dope.
So first song on the record's called Hypothermia. There's a song on there called Frosty. Let It Snow. There's a song on there called Sub-Zero. There's a song called I'm Sorry. There's a song called El Diablo.
Well, that sounds hot. That doesn't sound cold. That sounds hot.
That's the hot one.
That's the hot one. There's a song
That's
called
that hot shit.
Snowball's Chance in Hell. And there's a song called A Cold Winter's Night. And there's a song called Aurora Borealis. There's 9 tracks on this album. And they're not 1-minute songs. These are nice song lengths, like 4 and up. Nice. And it's a nice piece of work, man. It's a lot of cold cuts on there.
A lot of cold cuts. A couple of them sound a couple of them sound like they're gonna melt.
I just got the memo.
I feel like there's a lot of refreeze.
A
couple of them on there sound hot. They're gonna melt the cold ones.
A bunch of ice.
I knew I should have smoked that blunt before I called y'all. I told y'all too goddamn much. I done released the whole damn plan. Anyway, let's forget y'all heard that part.
All right, play that back. We'll flag that.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I do got that coming out, and we'll be out here 2018 on the Dead of Winter tour.
That'll be out. That'll be available by the time the tour comes around.
Yes, sir. It will be, and it's a lot of cold cuts on there, so y'all should check that shit out whenever y'all get a chance.
I know people are excited, man. People have been talking about this tour. It's not.
Man, I've been working hard on it, man. I mean, I switched a whole bunch of shit up, man. I don't want to give away no surprises, but I come to put on a damn good show, and that's what we're here to do.
You're going to be here in town with us next month.
Awesome.
The whole tour starts. Yeah, it starts out. Right. The first date's at Harpo's, right?
Yep. Actually, they switched those around. I think the first date's at the Loft.
Okay.
In Lansing, and then we'll be at Harpo's the next day. But it kicks off in Michigan, so I'm happy to be back up in cold ass Michigan because it's cold. It's the dead of winter.
I was there this weekend. It's cold as shit up there.
Yeah.
I like the winter time though.
I do too. As long as you're dressed right for it, I love it. I hate the summer. I hate the heat.
Yeah. I mean, no, I like all 4 seasons, but I love the winter time too because I know I like when it snows and then you look outside and there ain't shit moving.
Yeah. I love the silence. It's just so crazy that everything is quiet
on the ground, man. I just, I get out there and make snow angels still to this day. Nice. I love that shit. But yeah, man.
Little Esham snow bunnies.
I don't know about no snow bunnies. There's some angels and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Other than that, and on the serious note, I just try to keep it positive moving forward. I know a lot of people listen to the music, and I don't even know if they really get the message or get that. This is entertainment, and that's what I've been doing for 30 years, entertaining people. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, a lot of people don't know the difference between fantasy and reality, and they should, because, like I say, don't get caught up in it.
Amen.
I think those lines are getting more blurred by the day as far as we go on, man. It's getting worse.
But just be aware of your surroundings at all times, man.
Absolutely.
These motherfuckers out here crazy, man.
Yeah,
but hey, let me catch a motherfucker doing some shit out here. I'm gonna be a national hero. I'm gonna pop a motherfucker in the motherfucking head. Like, bitch, pow! That was me.
That was me.
Like, y'all saw me.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, yeah, man. But other than that, I mean, you got some other questions and stuff? Because
I do.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm not sure. I hope I'm not wrong. You went through a point in time where you maybe, I don't know if you just stopped doing music for a minute, or you became a chef for a little minute. You go to culinary school or what?
Yeah, man, I did. I went to culinary school. I got an associate's degree in culinary arts, and I do a lot of stuff though, man. And that's just what I'm saying about real life.
Right.
I do the music too. You know what I'm saying? We do all type of stuff, man. And I only shared that with people that small part of my life because I just want people to know there's other stuff other than music to do out here.
Yeah.
People like. Go ahead.
No, you can keep saying. I'll get to it.
No, I'm just saying, like, you could do all type of things out here, and
all right.
I more or less try to lead by example. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want people to get it twisted, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could go to school. Like, I'm not a motherfucker that says, I dropped out.
There's more to life.
Do that.
Right.
You dumbass motherfucker, get high. Let's do the little peep thing. Like, I ain't on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit, smart, shit's gangster, man. Be intelligent out here and do your thing. Like, you can go far at anything, though, man. You know what I'm saying? You'd be surprised.
You got a favorite style of food that you like to cook, or what's your favorite?
I'm a chef, man. I do it all. I dabble in all the 5 major cuisines.
Right.
You know, I'm hella this. I'm like, shit. I'm like, I could beat Bobby Flay.
I'm not sure I believe you. I watched that show. I'm not sure I believe you. I'd like to see you go against Bobby Flay.
They call that shit. He beat the shit out of Bobby Flay.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I would like to see that. Maybe we'll work on getting Bobby Flay on the show soon, and then we can.
What's dude named the other chef? Fat boy, what's his name? Sound like Ghostface?
Oh, fuck.
Are you talking about that dude that just started getting popular? Live action.
Action Bronson. Yeah. He's got a show on Viceland. You should get a cooking show on Viceland. That should be easy.
I mean, it's all good though, man. I mean, I cook. I cook just on a different timetable. You know, I don't do it to.
You more into fish or beef or
all that, man. I mean, I'm not a vegetarian. You know, although I
eat
can
pork?
get down with the vegans, I mean, I'm a chef. I eat it all, baby. I eat brains. You know what I'm saying?
Eat it all.
Like,
I can't bring myself to eat a brain sandwich.
I mean, but you know, that was a part of the training. It's like I went through some rigorous training.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be a chef and talk about
unless you can't cook something unless you know the flavor or what it should what's supposed to taste like, right?
Where the fuck am I gonna be in that bitch? You know, trying to
all right, well,
tighten up my skills if I in that bitch like ew. You know, just whatever.
Well, we definitely want to get Esham on beat Bobby Flay, and we want to see that matchup.
I'll beat Bobby Flay's ass. I'll flame his ass.
He's gonna flame Bobby Flay.
Right, but no, man. I mean, all type of shit, man. You know, like my next venture. I ain't even gonna tell my next moves. You know what I'm saying? Because I got all type of moves. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And all type of shit that, like I say, we do, man. You know, on a day-to-day basis, but just keeping it positive and being able to give back to people, and you know, that's more fulfilling to me. You know, nowadays than anything. You know what I'm saying?
Man. That's the shit for real.
Good karma.
I'd love to hear positive things from Esham. So get out there in real life and do what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, find your passion.
That's awesome. That's what you should do, man.
Is there anybody current in the underground that you like something new? You like anything current?
I mean, I've been checking it out. I mean, I kind of like it all. I can listen to some of it. Some of that shit I can't. You know what I'm saying? But I listen to it if it's something I never heard before. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what I mean by that, like, is if it's a style I never heard before, or, you know, like, all trap music sound the same to me. I don't give a fuck who fucking make it. You know what I'm saying? It's just all sound the same. Or nowadays I turn on a pop station and everybody sound like Ed Sheeran, like all the artists. Like, it's just, they just all in that vein. Like, they all just ride the same wave. So
Ed Sheeran's on the new Eminem album.
I am not down with Ed Sheeran.
Hey, listen, Ed Sheeran.
Sheeran.
Dichotomy.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, I don't know his fucking name. Eddie.
Yeah, it's Eddie.
Fuck that dude.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I'm just saying.
I'm with you on that.
It sound the same. No, it just sound the same. Like, if it's something that catches my attention and don't sound like nothing, or sound like some shit I already made, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then I'll just be like, okay, you know, I'll check it out. But I kind of check out everything.
Right.
You know,
I was just wondering if there's anybody in the dark underground that you're a fan of currently.
The dark underground, shit, let me think right quick. I mean, shit, man.
I know my co-hosts know where I'm going with this. They know exactly what I want you to say.
I like it. I like.
He ain't even never heard of him. That'd be funny.
Ala Zuli Lou.
That's what he wants you to say.
Oh, that's your boy.
X.
Yeah, that's his boys. He rides their nuts so damn hard.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess I'm a mark for those guys. I'm sorry.
I mean, I seen them perform. They get off. You know what I'm saying? I seen them do their thing.
Right. I was just wondering if there's anybody in the scene currently.
I mean, what, hardcore wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was hoping you would say them.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man! I was thinking Chief Keef, dude.
That's what's up.
He is stuck in one genre, man. Don't worry about it.
I listen to lots of stuff.
You know, we tell them they suck all the time.
I like all the hardcore shit.
That's
though,
what's up,
but
for sure.
I like every genre though. I ain't just listening to the one type of. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's just what I'm saying. So like, I can't just listen to one type of trap, or all that shit and start sounding the same. Like, I bounce it around on my ears.
I can listen to everything but country.
Shit, I listen to country too,
down.
man. There's some good songs on there, man. Loretta Lynn got a song called "Take Your Ass to Fifth City."
Hell yeah.
Check it out. You know what I'm
Fifth
saying?
City?
Yeah, Fifth City. She'll take your ass to Fifth City.
So Loretta Lynn was into fisting? Is that what you're saying?
She's gonna beat your ass.
Well, it might be fisting. It might be. You might have took it to another level.
Maybe she's either a brawler or she's into fisting. I'm not sure. But I think we just broke that shit.
Yeah, no, I'm a lover of music, man. All music. So my music palette is like just way beyond the average person's palette. I'm listening to it all.
That's a perfect segue into the last question of the night. We asked this to all our guests here. Oh yeah. Our homie Roscoe over at Fago Lovers shows us a lot of love.
Our Canadian brother.
He does the Fago Lovers podcast, and we steal his question to show him love.
Nice.
If you're stranded on an island and you can only bring 3 records, what 3 records would you bring?
Stranded on the island, I could only bring 3 records.
That's how you. This shit digs into your soul. Right. You have to figure out what you're gonna be.
Well, he's the soulless. So,
well,
am I by myself?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
You're by yourself.
This isn't Gilligan's Island, man. Come on.
It sucks.
I need something.
This is Castaway.
Okay.
You don't have Wilson.
There could be animals and shit to hang out with.
Fuck those animals. You eat those.
I need a bitch over there. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, 3 records. I can only bring 3 records.
Yep.
All right, let me think.
It's hard, man.
And I'm stranded. I'm bringing 3 records. Okay. I'm gonna bring. First record would be Prince, "Dirty Mind." Then I'm gonna bring. The fuck. I might have to bring.
It's hard, man. It's a hard fucking question.
I would rather deep think about this.
If I don't pick no rap, don't be mad at me.
No, absolutely. There's artists that we've had on the show that didn't pick rap also.
Fuck, didn't one of them say the Beatles?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna bring Prince. Any Prince. I ain't gonna just say Dirty Mind.
Prince greatest hits.
Prince greatest hits.
Okay, yeah, greatest hits.
There you go.
Hits. Give me a plethora.
There you go.
All right.
That's your one gimme.
Okay, and then my second album, because I could only bring 2 more with me. I'm gonna bring.
See, I appreciate these answers because he's thinking about it. This is real shit.
I'm trying.
Real shit. This is real shit.
Went there.
I appreciate that.
I think he's putting more effort in his list than everybody else.
I know. I'm like, damn, I got Prince on my. Okay, since I got Prince, I got to bring Michael Jackson shit.
There you go.
And that's like,
Amen.
I'm gonna be dancing around that bitch. So
fuck yeah.
We could do Mike's greatest hits, or we could just do motherfucking off the wall and just keep it jiggy.
That is a good album.
So I got Prince, I got Michael, and then I just gotta have like a beat CD.
There you go. That's dope.
Okay.
Just an instrumental.
Oh, nice.
Just an instrumental.
That's dope. That's a dope answer.
That's so he can make up the rap.
He can make his own rap.
That's why he can make up his
endless
own
rap. Right, because I'm going to be talking to myself because I'm the only motherfucker on the island.
That's right.
That's dopest rap in the world.
That's dope. I love that answer. That's probably my favorite answer out of every time we've asked it.
That's the shit, man. Hell
that's
yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, man, I got to let these damn pit bulls off, man. I mean, it's been dope talking to y'all boys. Y'all made me smile tonight, man.
For sure, man.
Y'all keep it real. When I get the new shit, or check me out on the Dead of Winter Tour 2018, starting up in Michigan. And everybody out there, check out Replicon Radio, dudes in St. Louis. Y'all the realest, man.
Oh yeah, man. We appreciate it, man. Much love to you. Welcome to the Replicon Radio family, and we will see you out there on the road.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peace.